friends, welcome back to my channel. So this week's vlog is going to be a new releases reading vlog because we had quite a few books come out. It is currently April 2nd, and yesterday Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez came out, and The Condition of Will by Jessa Hastings. So very excited. I love Abby Jimenez, so I'm super excited to jump into her book. And then the only other Jessa Hastings book I've read was the first Magnolia Parks, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I definitely want to see how her writing style is outside of a Magnolia book. So I'm very excited about that. April and May are the months of new releases, so you guys are probably going to be seeing more than one part of this. This is just going to be part one in the vlogs where I'm reading new releases, and I will keep you guys posted along the way as I'm getting these books and reading these books. You will be along the journey. So I just want to do a quick intro, let you guys know the books I'll be reading and the plans. So today is Wednesday, so I have no plans because I just got off work. And then tomorrow's Thursday, nothing planned besides work. And Friday, nothing planned besides work. Dom may come over, and we also may be going to my dad's, so I guess those are plans, but nothing is solidified as of yet. And then Saturday, me and Dom are going to Costco, and then we are going to pig yoga. So I'll take you guys along that journey. And possibly a Yard Goats game, which is like our state's baseball like team, I guess, or whatever. So I might be doing that on Sunday. So I'll take you guys with me. It's gonna be a fun little time reading these two books, and I will keep you posted along the way. Hilarious. They're talking about, he's a vet. I didn't know anything about this book. He's a vet. And they're talking about what pets they've had. And he goes, what else did you have? And she goes, I had hamsters. Don't be mad at me, but they all died premature deaths. And he goes, yes, they tend to do that. And she's like, is that just a universal experience? Because everyone I know had a hamster who died in some tragic accident. And we did, me and my brother's hamster. Like, what is up with that? And I'm pretty sure one of my other hamsters died like that. His name was Peanut. And then I had a Peanut Jr. too. So this part where he's like, also they tend to hibernate and people don't know that. And then they bury them thinking they're dead. And she goes, are you telling me that I might have buried Hamber alive? And he goes, and she goes, Xavier, I'm gonna cry. And he goes, I'm sure Hambert was dead, or that he died peacefully in his sleep in his shallow grave. Like, damn. Way to give her what she needed at that moment. I just wanted to film a quick update. So it is the next day, and I am 164 pages, 48%, chapter 21 of Say You'll Remember Me. You guys, I am obsessed with this book. I know I haven't explained what it's about, but I didn't really know. So we're following Samantha, who works from home. She does marketing. And we're also following Xavier, who is a vet, and they have a chance encounter because she ends up finding this kitten and bringing her in to get seen. And he is like so like funnily just like harsh. Like his bedside manner is quite literally horrible. And she's so funny that she's like offsetting everything he's saying, like making it like a joke. And they both end up like weirdly like really liking each other. And then fast forward, you know, they go on a date and have quite one of the most interesting dates. And then it kind of goes from there because Samantha is actually dealing with something, and she was like, listen, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I can go on a date tonight but like that's it. And he thought she was going like on a trip. No, she is moving from Minnesota to California because her mother has dementia. Her mom is 54 years old, and Samantha has a sister, Geneva, who has 2 kids, and then a brother, Tristan. The dad is still around, and the grandmother. So they're all kind of living in the grandmother's house together, helping to take care of the mom, Lisa, because she's just been kind of, progressively getting worse and worse. And it's been a lot for everyone to handle. And because, she's like, I feel like I've missed so much already. Like, I just want to be there with my family and be with my mom. So the date ends up, ending. And then she's like, all right, like, he said he would drive her to the airport. And the bombshell kind of drops that, like, she's not coming back. And he's like, what do you mean? And so she kind of explains the situation. And he is so, like, upset. But, like, he doesn't show it because he masks his emotions very well from, like, things that happened in his childhood, which you start to kind of unravel. And, oh, my God, I honestly don't know how to explain it. But, like, he ends up coming to visit her, and then they kind of break it off because neither of them want to get too far before, because they know it's not going to work. He has a business, he can't leave, he literally just started it, so he's already underwater, and she's not leaving her mom. So that's kind of where we're at in the story. But reading about Samantha's mom with dementia is so hard to read about. My grandmother actually has dementia, and so reading a lot of these things, and my dad is her caretaker, and so reading a lot of these things, it makes me sad because, I obviously am not there all the time. I don't know everything that goes on, and like, it just really is sad to like read about someone going through that and like seeing it through the eyes of the daughter who's like witnessing the toll it takes on the whole family being the caretaker, and how everyone is like there, and they obviously center around her, and she's like the main priority. And it's just really heartbreaking to read about the dementia itself, the toll it's taking on the dad, her husband, the toll it's taking on the kids, and the toll it's taking on the family and each individual as a caretaker or caretakers. So it's just been kind of sad to read about for that aspect, but I've also enjoyed reading about it because I think it gives me a perspective with my dad that I feel like maybe I didn't have before. And that's something that I really love about reading, is that you can sort of, even though you're not living the experience, you read about the experience through someone, through a character that you really love, and kind of get to understand other people in your life better. And so I think that's really important. So I am really enjoying the story from that aspect, like getting to learn about the different things that are going on and how the caretakers feel and stuff like that, and just how Samantha's feeling in general, just as the daughter, and how she's like, moved here, and she's obviously dealing with how much she liked Xavier. And then you have Xavier's side of things where he misses her like crazy. He can't stop thinking about her. And he's typically not the type of guy that gets like so wrapped up in someone. But their connection was just like instantaneous, and like you could feel it off the page, like their banter with each other, just, and how caring Xavier is. Like, you read about some of these things, Xavier, what he does with, his charity work and his community, and learning some backstory about his family and how he doesn't even talk to his parents. So to have someone like Samantha who's so involved in her family, and then someone like Xavier who doesn't speak to his family for good reason, it's just, I'm interested to see how it's all gonna kind of like, how they're gonna be able to find their way back to each other, and how they're going to, I'm sure his parents are gonna pop up at some point, and I'm sure that'll like take, a toll. I'm just interested to see how the story goes in general. Like, I'm loving reading about these characters. I'm just having such a great time when they're together. There's just so much chemistry. It's like unreal. And even when they talk about each other and think about each other, it's just, the writing in this book is honestly amazing, and I'm so happy that I'm reading it. So, and vlogging the experience, because I think that I'm just really, really enjoying it. And I'm already sad that I'm like 50% through. And I'm like so sad that it's gonna be ending. But I am trying to like make it last and, you know, make it last at least over a couple days. But so far, so good. It's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. So I have work in the morning, well, all day, but I start work in the morning and then we're going to my dad's for a cookout. So I probably won't be reading too much tomorrow. And then Saturday I should have some time to read, but we're going to Costco and then we're doing pig yoga and then we are doing that yard goats game Sunday. So I'll try to make some time to read. But I will keep you guys updated on my thoughts because I am loving this. All I have to say is, can my girl Samantha catch a freaking break? Like, I can't. This poor chick. I feel so bad for her. Like, I can't. Like, I just read this line and I was like, wait, what? Oh my God. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Hello, friends. So I just finished Say You'll Remember Me. You guys, 5 stars. Obviously, quite literally, besides yours truly, like one of the easiest 5 stars I've given. The writing, amazing. The characters, phenomenal. The story got me, like, for reals, because I related to Samantha, I think, more than I intended to. I had no idea what this story was about going into it. But like I said, you're following Samantha and Xavier, and they end up meeting because Samantha saved a cat, and so she brought the cat to the vet. Xavier was the vet, and the cat ended up having a medical issue that would cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to fix. And he was like, well, if you can't do it, you know, then the cat's going to be in pain and you're going to do more harm than good. So he suggested, you know, if you can't afford it, you know, to put the animal down. She was like not having it. And she's like, well, aren't people like inherently good? Like, can't I like try to fundraise? And he was like, people aren't good, like, but you do you. So she ended up doing a fundraising campaign with her little cat Pooter and raised enough money, and she ended up bringing him in to check. This all happens within the first like 2 chapters, so this isn't spoilers or anything. But she ends up bringing him in, or her in, Pooter, and being like, hey, check out my cat. Look at the cat. Like, how's the cat doing? And the cat has had the surgery, and the cat looks great. And he asks her out, and she's like, well, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I can go out tonight. So of course, when you tell someone you're leaving, like, he just thinks that she's going on vacation. So the next morning, they go to the house, you know, after they have this whole incident. Their date, hilarious. Quite literally one of the best things ever. Their first date. And so he ends up being like, oh, I'll drive you to the airport. So he goes to her house, and she has like all these, like, her stuff's packed up, whatever. And he's like, where are you going? She's like, I'm moving. And he's like, what? And like, you learned through her POVs that her mom has dementia, and her whole family, so her dad, her grandmother, her brother, her sister, are the caretakers, and her sister has 2 kids. And so they're all the caretakers, but they all live in California. She moved to Minnesota for work, but she works fully remote now. So she's like, you know what? I've missed enough of my mom's life and dealing with the dementia, and I want to help. I want to see her. I want to be around my family. So she decides that she's moving back. And so she moves back, and they make it work. Let me tell you, I've never read about 2 people more determined to make it work. There was no like nasty third act conflict. There, like, this whole book was just about love, like truly about each of them trying to do what's best for themselves, what's best for the other, what's best for her family, you know, helping him deal with the issues that like he dealt with growing up with his parents. And the communication in this book was like phenomenal, how they spoke to each other so openly, and I ate it up. Like, I absolutely loved it. Like, there was nothing in this book that I didn't like. um and like I said, there were two aspects of this book that I connected to. About how her mother has dementia. Like I mentioned, my grandmother has dementia. So it gave me like, and my dad is her caretaker. And so it gave me, like, there were so many quotes in this book that made me think, like, wow, like, you truly just never realized. Like, because the dad was the primary caregiver, like, everyone else was, and the grandmother, the dad and the grandmother were primary caretakers, and everyone else was kind of just like there to help when they needed it. And so, like, eventually the dad, like, they go through this whole thing. I don't want to spoil anything. They talk, and you just learn how much of a toll, being one of the primary caregivers, has on him. And so just reading about that, I think it gave me a lot more like insight to like how hard it is, I'm sure, for my dad. And my stepmom, is there. She obviously helps, but like my dad is like her primary. And so just reading about it, I think was just very interesting, and like it just makes you think a little bit. And it never hurts to think about other people and what they're going through. And like, you know, I think I enjoyed reading about it because I think it just helped me understand what my dad and stepmom are going through, and even kind of understanding like how scary it can be for the person who has the dementia. And like that's something that you never really think about. So, well, nothing I really thought about. So there was that. By the end, I just have no words. I mean, besides the ones I've been speaking for 6 minutes. Good morning, friends. So I haven't talked to the camera since finishing Sail Remember Me. And that was like Saturday, early afternoon maybe. And since then, today's Tuesday, and I've been reading The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, and I'm on chapter 46, page 330. I am 72% through, so I have literally not talked about this book once. So essentially what this book is about is you're following, our main character is Georgia. She lives in London, or not in London. Is it London? She lives in England, and she gets a phone call. Her dad died. So she has to go back. She's not close with her family at all besides her brother Oliver. And her brother were both kind of like ousted from the family, each for their own reasons. Each reason is BS, but they live in like the Carolinas, and it's like super like religious, and the brother is gay, so that's why he's ostracized. And then something happens with Georgia that you like find out as you're reading, so I don't want to spoil it. And so then she also gets booted. So her and Oliver have a very tough relationship with the rest of their family, with the mom, dad, and then there's another brother and another sister. Um, and you learn so it's like just a bunch of like family drama and she's like dreading going, but she buys her brother's ticket for him as well, because he is a recovering alcoholic, um, and drug addict. So she's like, I'll buy the ticket, like please just come, like let's do this, let's do it together. So they both get there, and then the first thing she notices is this guy standing in the corner, and she goes up to him, assuming that it's her brother's like new boyfriend or something, and it's not. He's straight. And their first interaction is hilarious, and his name is Sam Penny, and he is Oliver, her brother's sponsor. So like to help him obviously stay on track during like especially a very like difficult time. So that's essentially like the setup is we're following Georgia, and she's like really, really good at reading people, like reading people's faces. Like she can tell like as soon as like your eye twitches or your, there's like a shift in your mouth, anything. She can tell if you're lying, she can tell if you're telling the truth, she can tell if you're uncomfortable, and that's kind of what she does for a living. And so she's with her whole family, and she's like reading all these people, and then you get a little further into the book, and then they find out, I think it's on the back of the book, but it literally doesn't happen until like 50% into the book. So I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what happens. So there's this thing that happens, and so it kind of sets the book on a whole different trajectory. And now they're on like a road trip all together. But Sam and Georgia have been like really falling for each other. But the problem is that even though Sam is straight, Oliver really likes him. And Georgia doesn't want to do anything to hurt Oliver. And so she's really struggling, like, because she's hiding this now, her feelings from Sam, her feelings for Sam, she's hiding from Oliver. And so it's kind of just this journey about them finding out a bunch of stuff about their family secrets coming out, learning about the family and the town they live in, and then family relationships, getting closer with people, getting further away from people, and the drama that entails, and then her relationship with Sam. And so far, it's okay. I don't think I like Jessa Hastings' writing, honestly. Because I read Magnolia Parks, and it was okay. I think I gave like a 3-star. And then I started to try to read Daisy Hates, and I just could not get into it. Like, and for that, it was the writing as well. And so even though like I'm definitely gonna finish this, it's probably gonna be around a 3-star. Like, it's not bad. I just am not really a fan of the way that she tells the story. Like, I don't really feel very connected to Sam and Georgia. Like, I'm reading it really for like the family drama. Like, I honestly don't really care about the romance relationship. Like, I know that it's going to blow up at some point because of the situation with Oliver, but like I'm not really reading it for the romance aspect of it. Like, I'm truly just reading it because I like Georgia as a main character. She's super interesting, and I like how honest she is with everybody. So I'm kind of like reading it for that. The romance for me is kind of just like backseat, like not that important. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like Sam. Like, he's also a really interesting character, and I like them together. I just don't necessarily, it's not, for me, it's not like driving forward the story, and I don't feel like obsessed with them or anything. Like, I just don't. So where we're at now, they're on like a little road trip. Oliver, their other brother Tennyson, Sam, and Georgia. And they're on like a little road trip together to find out some info. And super intriguing. I'm like I said, I'm liking this whole like family drama, like behind the scenes, like after the dad dies, like all this stuff. I'm enjoying that like drama aspect of it more than the romance, but overall I'm having a good time. I'll check you guys in the next clip. So I wanted to film a quick wrap up for this video. So today is Tuesday. I just finished work a little bit ago, and last night I finished The Condition of Will by Jessa Hastings. I honestly didn't even rate it on Goodreads because I truly have no idea what I want to rate it. After pondering on it, I'm like between a 2.75 and a 3. I think it's more a 3. It wasn't a bad book. I just didn't connect with the romance very well. I really enjoyed Georgia as her own character and Sam as his own character. I feel like we don't learn too much about Sam, honestly. I feel like 90% of this story is about the family drama that Georgia, Oliver, Tennyson, and Marianne are kind of all dealing with after their dad's passing, and Oliver and Georgia are like coming to see their family for the first time in like years. And it's just all about like kind of the family drama, the family dynamics, like things that happened, you know, and all about the family. And then you have Sam, who is Oliver's sponsor, and you know, he's interested in Georgia, but Oliver likes Sam, but Sam is not gay. And so Georgia is like going through this inner turmoil the whole time, like about how she doesn't want to hurt her brother, but like she really, really cares for Sam, and Sam really cares for her. But like, so she's like lying to Oliver about things, and she like hates liars and hates lying. So I thought that was like just really odd and like frustrating because it's like so against her character. And I feel like it was just used to create this unnecessary drama, where I feel like if Sam and Georgia would have been upfront with Oliver in the beginning, things would not have gone down the way they went down. So that being said, what I really enjoyed about the book was the characters. Like, I really, really liked the siblings, like their whole dynamic. Well, I didn't like Marianne, but you know, whatever. And Oliver was like okay, but not the greatest. Like Tennyson and Georgia were probably some of my favorite characters. I also really like Tennyson's girlfriend, Savannah. And I did like Sam. Like I said, I just feel like we just didn't know much about him. Like the book wasn't about him, you know, it was about Georgia. Which kind of stinks because I do wish we, you know, got to learn a little more. It is very insta-lovey, which is not my favorite. So that also I wasn't a huge fan of. I feel like I didn't connect to the writing. I felt the same way when I read Daisy Hates. I honestly couldn't stand the writing in that book. So I like DNF'd it only after a couple pages. I didn't really like the writing in Magnolia Parks, which is why I never continued the series. So I think it's more of just my opinion of the writing versus anything else. Like, I just didn't enjoy the writing. But overall, I would say it was definitely an interesting read. If you like Jessa Hastings' writing, I think this is right up your alley. Like I said, really enjoyed the characters. I like the plot. I think it was an interesting read. As we all know, I read Sail Remember Me, loved it, still love it, still thinking about it. Wish I could wipe it from my memory. Wish I could wipe it from my memory and reread it because I ate it up. Loved the characters, loved everything about it, loved the pacing, loved the banter, love. Definitely read that for sure. Check the trigger warnings, there's some dark things talked about, but definitely really enjoyed it. So overall, these two new releases, I had a good time reading them. I had a 5-star and like a 3-star, so not bad. I'm excited because we have some more new releases coming up. We have The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose. We have, obviously, Emily Henry's new book. We have Rewind It Back coming out. We have a lot of new releases. So I'll be doing a couple of different new release vlogs throughout these next couple of weeks. If you've read either of these books, let's talk about them down below. I definitely am interested to hear people's thoughts on The Conditions of Will. I've been reading Goodreads reviews, and I just, like I said, I think it's just because I didn't connect to her writing because like a lot of people really, really enjoyed it. So like I said, just comment down below. Let me know if you've read them, your thoughts, your feelings, if you liked them, hated them. I'm down to know. I will check you guys in my next video, which like I said, is likely going to be another new releases vlog. So as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will check you guys in the next video.